Sports Illustrated. Jimmy Garoppolo to Sports Illustrated. Let's talk a little bit about the 49ers.
What did you make of the Trey Lance trade to Dallas?
Weird situation. Been a lot of weird situations over there in San Francisco, just to leave it at that. But, I'm happy Trey got another shot, man.
How do you think San Francisco's handled those quarterback situations?
How do you think they've handled them?
I think it's been messy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Wow. But let me ask 49er fans this. Is there anybody – the 49er fans have acknowledged the 49ers quarterback position has been a little bit messy. So the guy smack dab in the middle of it saying it shouldn't be that big of a deal, especially when he's on another team, right? They did Jimmy wrong.
Oh, there's no doubt that – you know what, Steiny? And they said they would do right by him. And even him coming back last year pissed him off, the fact that he had a lot of success. So, man, now you got me on the fly. I'm not going to change my opinion, but he's got some ill will. I think it's toward strictly Kyle. And what about when I went Perry Mason on y'all, and I told you a while back last year when he goes, I just run the plays that are called, basically insinuating Jimmy was, I can let it fly. Let me cook. Even though you might burn some stuff, let me cook. And I think he has resentment toward Kyle and Stein. He is irritated that now that Lance has been traded, this is the dude y'all tried to tell me to kick rocks for, and I had to come back and save your ass because I had surgery. Jimmy.
My question is more about Kyle Shanahan and the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo obviously doesn't think that Kyle Shanahan did him right. And Kyle Shanahan went up and drafted Trey Lance and then ended up changing his mind on Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. I guess my question is to 49er fans, what do you think about Kyle Shanahan and the way he handles his personnel? Are there bound to be guys who aren't crazy about the way he does it? Or is there something more to this Is it arrogance? Is it a smugness about Kyle Shanahan? Because clearly Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo is right, Kyle Shanahan's wrong. I am just trying to analyze their relationship, Goo. And Jimmy Garoppolo is not a Tom Brady.
Okay.
But he's also not Trey Lance or Brock Purdy. He had a professional career before he got to San Francisco. I mean, Kyle's personality, could that be, when we talk about his strengths, great play caller, great play designer, a couple playoff games where he questioned a couple of his play calls, but what about his relationship with his players? How's that, and does it matter?
I was just about to throw that back at you, partner. Does it matter? To me, nobody's come out and quote-unquote challenged him or stabbed him in the back or publicly disagreed. And here I go. I feel like I'm in a courtroom. I'm going to cite Exhibit A, Brandon Ayuk, who I felt like Kyle was picking on or trying to make a scapegoat out of him for whatever reason. All that did was help propel Brandon Ayuk to the heights that he's at now, about to get a payday. So outside of Jimmy Steiny, who has publicly come out and had a problem with the way that Kyle handles his business. So I'm gonna say to you, I feel like from my vantage point, it does matter to a degree. But when you look at his tenure, give me that one or two players that have been like, man, this dude it ain't been much of that. Now, and
Deebo Samuel asked for a trade.
Well, that was more towards the finance, like pay me.
You sure it wasn't about the way he was being used?
You might, if that's how you feel. I don't have the answer to that. But the fact that I don't have the answer, I'm going to not put that in the column of he had an issue. So I'm going to say outside of Jimmy, it's been quiet on the set.
49er fans, the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo obviously came out and said, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in San Francisco, and call it a messy situation would be one way to put it. Does it not change the way you think of Kyle Shanahan, but does it make you, is it another piece of pepperoni on the pie, if you will? We talk about Kyle seems arrogant. Kyle can seem like a know-it-all. Kyle maybe doesn't accept input like other coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Evan said something before the show to me that was very interesting, and I wouldn't mind getting into it. And he said, you know, Kyle Shanahan operates, what was it exactly? Operates outside
one of the most unique spaces of any head coach.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's in one of the most unique spaces of any coach. He's probably got more power than 95% of the coaches in the league, outside of what, Belichick?
Yeah.
Probably. So we have a young coach who's been here who's been here now in his 7th year, and he's got complete control of the team. And I don't know, is that a good thing? Is that a good thing? I mean, that's one thing that we've never really gotten into.
Because nothing has happened.
Well, but Kyle Shanahan, the fact is that every coach who's ever had coach and GM responsibilities, eventually that comes to the fore. Don Nelson used to happen all the time because Don Nelson had control of the team. Does Kyle Shanahan have too much power? And if he does, what does that mean? What would he do differently? What would you do differently if you supervised Kyle Shanahan?
That's interesting. As far as the winning, Steiny, he's got the skins on the wall. As far as getting you to the NFC Championship game, turning around the program, which you pointed out Friday, I do understand that. Now, you know, I believe in this offense and this team so much, I'm saying, okay, Kyle, show me your hardware, but I just can't go to the side of it may be an issue if nobody's done it yet, if no player outside of this Jimmy Garoppolo situation. And then let's be honest, Jimmy calling it weird. It was weird to have that last year, that going away off-season presser, thinking he was gone, and him to come back. So that's a great word, Jimmy. But I'll say this: the next time Kyle wants to draft a quarterback, if he's still here, Steiny, I would have somebody else in the room. Other than that, I know he's arrogant, but I feel like the players like him.
I don't know if they like him or not. I think they respect his football knowledge. I think that's the thing about Kyle. I think everybody respects his football knowledge, but I'm not sure that everybody respects the way he goes about utilizing his power. Fire him, Steiny. Okay.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening. But my question is, where is your confidence level right now in Kyle Shanahan? Does it matter that over the last week he's changed his mind on Trey Lance, of course traded Trey Lance. Now Garoppolo takes a shot at him from Vegas saying, the quarterback situation's been a mess.
And he said it ain't all glitz and glamour.
Exactly. So
what does that mean?
I mean, what I'll say is this. My feeling is that Kyle Shanahan is entrenched here as the coach of the Niners. But there is, to me, absolutely no doubt that what happened last week is what they call a data point. Trading Trey Lance means something. And if things begin to change from this point on for the worse, then yes, I do think that we're going to start to look at Kyle Shanahan a different way. The San Francisco 49ers go out this year, go 13-4, win a couple playoff games. Then all this talk is obviously for naught. But you can't get past this trade of Trey Lance unless you continue to have success. The minute this thing doesn't look like a championship football team, then I think we start looking at things differently. And as of right now, though, I think we can all agree they look like one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah. And outside of Brandon Ayuk, I don't know if you saw his soundbite, Steiny. You know, he did the whole what the Warriors did when Poole was traded. You know, that was my guy. I'm going to miss him. But I'm with you. Again, I'm coming from a fan perspective, and I'm not ashamed of it, Steiny. I feel like, to me, it's my privilege as a fan to judge and feel a certain way, like I'm in a relationship about the coaches, the owner, and it just boils down to the Rodney Dangerfield. Just respect the fans, and I know you can't give us all of the intel, but respect us. And I felt like what they did Friday after the game could have been done 48 hours sooner. But when it all went down, it's over, they did it. But there is a lot of, he plays with the media. He did, there is a lot of, not I'm better than you, but it's almost like I don't got to conform to what you guys do for a living. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. But on the flip side, all we've heard this offseason was Trent Williams and that walk to the locker room with Fred Warner about them seeing something in Brock Purdy. I don't think there's a unrest with the players like we see in, a prison where people are mad somebody's got done wrong. The inmates trying to take over. So I got to give Kyle his credit for, Steiny, the data point that goes in the file, but what else is in there? And you got me thinking about Debo, but that was financial.
What else is in there are the things that yesterday you were ready to put in there. Play calling in crucial situations.
No, that's technical
well,
aspect.
Then there's, but then
high
there's
leverage.
Then there's a lot. Then
that's real, Steiny.
Now listen, I need to make this clear because Kyle Shanahan, I'm not saying he's in danger or anything. What I'm saying is I do believe, and 49 fans, you tell me if you disagree with this at 888-957-9570, that this week does mark a point in which the San Francisco 49ers, as of right now, are a Super Bowl contender. There's no doubt about it. And if for whatever reason they begin to trend toward not being a Super Bowl contender, and it starts this year, then I do think Kyle Shanahan is going to start to be more and more questioned by the fan base. Yeah. And I think there's a segment of the fan base I think that's already questioning him. But in fairness, they don't really mean a lot right now because the team's had success. But they got to keep they have to keep having success. I mean, if they struggle this year for whatever reason, I do think we'll start to look at Kyle Shanahan a little differently.